Hi Sagittarius, welcome back to Wandering Magic. These are going to be your March 2026 messages, and it's going to be for Sagittarius, Sun, Moon, and Rising. I do offer personal readings now, so if you'd like one, the info is down below in the description box. We're starting off with our Gypsy Witch fortune telling, and you have Lightning and the Rider. Weathering the storm was my initial thought with Lightning and the Rider. This is getting in the car and going anyway, even though it's raining or snowing outside, because you just are unfazed. What these cards mean is news coming in that might not be so great. It's a little surprising. It's not all bad news, but it's news at all that shocks you. Okay? So, I'll leave that there. You also have the Tower, but we'll talk about that when we get there. Quieting the mind is your oracle message. This is card 32. 3 plus 2 is 5. 5 talks about conflict, resolving issues, fixing the problem, working it out. Everything always works out, doesn't it? So, quieting the mind, what happens when you quiet your mind is the internal chatter stops. And, well, let me clarify what I mean by that, because I also want to clarify something else. Meaning you're not listening to the little voice inside that is wreaking havoc on your life. But I think there's this, and I don't know why I'm feeling compelled to say this to you, Sagittarius, but I will. There's this misconception that when you meditate, that you're not supposed to think about anything, your mind is completely wiped. But that's not true. Meditation, it brings answers. And what happens, and there's a little piece of advice here. If you do meditate, or you have been trying to meditate, or maybe this is on your New Year's resolution list and it's March and you haven't gotten started. When you start to meditate, you sit quiet or with sound frequencies. And when you start thinking about, like, oh my gosh, I forgot to call so-and-so, I'm gonna have to call them right after this. Acknowledge that you're having that thought, because you're here and you're starting to drift. Bring it back to center. And you try to quiet your mind again. And the more you start to drift, you acknowledge it, bring it back to center. Thank yourself for having that thought, and bring it back to center. And so you can try to start to find this quiet. But what's happening is those answers start to come in. And so sometimes you start to have these visuals and things of that nature. So you're being asked to get quiet about something. Again, this news comes in and it's shocking, but I feel like it's something that you just didn't want to hear, you know? So you just, because you weren't expecting it. And it can be however you turn this picture. Your tarot messages are the Knight of Coins, the Six of Coins, and the Tower. So, I feel like this news got delivered to you, or this thing was presented to you, but now you don't know what to do with it. So, how do you figure that out? And that's what you're trying to figure out, because this thing is shake, rattle, and rolling, and you don't know how to get it to stop. So you're in this state of confusion. You're in this mode of, I need to do something. But the thing is, too, I want to say, try not to rush to figure this out, because this is going to take time. I'm also getting with the news that comes in, it could be somewhat of a warning or somewhat of a heads up. Like, hey, heads up, this is happening, but not right now. But because of this thing happening, you need to be very methodical, very getting your ducks in a row, because it's going to set you up for the biggest change I just heard of your life. The thing is, this is kind of like giving you a head start, right? So you're in this race and boom, you get to go first because you have this advantage because you got this information. As you're running, there's someone behind you also trying to beat you. And because you got this head start, you have such a good advantage. This is not about, speeding through and not paying attention, because you got to look down to see, is there a pothole? Are you going to trip? Is there something in my way? Is there gum on my shoe kind of thing? But all this is to say, you need to take your time. Slow jog, fast walk, not run, not sprinting. This could also be, I'm just going to use this as a quick example and we're going to move forward. A diagnosis of some sort, and saying like you're in the early stages, but now it's time to change. And this isn't about quick and a flash overnight, because you don't want to shock your body, but you want to slowly move through and slowly start to make these changes, because what happens is if you move too quickly, they don't become long-term sustainable changes. It ends up taking you a really long time to get there. And the thing is, this change that you're doing slowly, intentionally, by you giving yourself, you start to get, and you start to move better and be better and grow better. But this is like something that the change is never easy, and I don't want to say it so simply. I don't like when people glaze over, oh, just embrace the change. Like, you can't, because you're so used to your everyday. Even if you do something a little different every day, you're just so used to generally this routine that you have. You know where to park your car, you know where your house is, you know what to do when you get to work, kind of thing. Those are like, and if something is off, something throws off your day or your routine, it tends to throw you off. But the thing is, you're staying very sharp in March. You're staying sharp. You're on top of it. You know that you can't really stay in hiding anymore, and you need to let down your defenses, because what you did before was not working. And so this message came in as a, hey, by the way, and now you need to do something about that. All good things. Don't stop. Your angels say, don't stop. When you feel like it's getting hard, if you feel like you want to completely take a stop, this is not stopping, taking your time. Slowing down doesn't mean stop. It means slow down. Slow down. Still keep going. And then you got crystal ball, planning for the future. You see what I mean? You're planning for something, but you're also given this time right now to plan for it. Okay? Watch your sun, moon, and rising for any additional messages, and I'll see you next time. Bye.